Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, I think we're going to talk about this in Exit 1 or one of the exits, but I'm so sick of hearing about the draft already. I mean, it's just leading up. It's nonstop NFL draft. I know a lot of people bet on it, but my goodness.
I have to admit, I like the non-betting aspect more of the draft than the draft. I hate saying this in the sports betting industry.
I wouldn't even know
show.
how to bet on it. My God, were there 8 teams with 2 first-round draft picks? And you know they're going to be trading some of those. And you know how do these people do these mock drafts? That's one thing I want to know. How these people formulate mock drafts. I mean, I think I've read about 10 or 12 mock drafts from different people.
The other thing I noticed in some of the mock draft shows or whatever you want to call them, some of them allow trades, some of them don't.
Oh, okay. They're actually predicting the trades. Huh?
They're predicting trades.
Wow. Well, are we going to talk about this? I hate to jump in on how quickly we're going to do like one of the exits.
Well, the exit's going to talk about the actual experience at the draft.
All right. Well, maybe we should jump into that. Let me just say we have a great show. We got a Beatin The House. We have a book report, and I'm talking with Greg Warren from Sports Handle, USBets.com, and Better Collective. We're going to be talking about all the amazing things happening in Canada. Man, I can't believe April 4th was the big day, and Ontario just exploded with online sports betting, online casinos, online poker. It's just absolutely incredible. And Greg Warren is going to fill us in on what's happening in our neighbors to the north, Canada.
You know, it was very interesting. We had Greg on last month just after the launch, I believe.
Yeah.
Or prior to the launch. And we'd had him come back on and talk about what's going on with it after the launch now.
Yeah.
And a very interesting market.
We're talking a lot of Canada lately. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we had Paul Burns, the CEO and president of the Canadian Gaming Association, and now we're having Greg Warren. It's all Canada all the time.
Brand new market.
Yep. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, as we just teased.
Yeah. I don't think we teased. We
actually started talking about it.
We dove right into the NFL draft. I was just... You know, I listen to sports radio all day, or ESPN and NFL Network, and think, well, NFL Network should be talking about the draft, but it's all NFL draft all the time, and it's just this draft is one of the most difficult to predict, and everyone's throwing out their opinions, which is great, but it's just enough is enough. Oh my goodness!
The one thing I have noticed about this draft more so than others in the past. There's a lot of updating of the odds more because a couple of the guys are falling, a couple other guys are rising, and no one knows why.
Well, like I said before, you have 8 teams with 2 first-round draft picks each, and you know a lot of them are going to be choosing both picks, so they're going to be trading. So there's going to be a lot of movement that way, and I don't know how they predict stuff like that.
Some of these teams need to do both picks.
Probably.
My Jets, I'm anticipating something going on with the 10th pick.
Well, what have you heard about the Jets? Are they going to take both picks, or have they been talking about? I know Deebo Samuel's out there. So
Joe Douglas is extremely close to the vest. Yeah. He's got a lot of Jet fans annoyed at him.
By the way, by the time this comes out, they could have made trades,
the pick,
whatever. So who knows?
This is the day of the draft. So
yeah.
by the time
this is when it's going to be released, the day of the draft.
From what I'm understanding, the one pick of the 2 that they have in the top 10 that's in play for a lot of different possible trade possibility is the number 10 pick.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been hearing about. That's what they offered for Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And but they couldn't get Tyreek Hill because he wanted to go to Florida.
Yeah.
And to actually match that contract, they had to anticipate the lack of taxes.
Yeah.
So they would have had to increase it by another $20 million. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm watching a lot of the different draft shows And it's the first time I'm seeing an overwhelming amount of data in terms of the betting options
Sure.
going on. And again, everyone has been talking about this. You can't bet on the draft at the draft in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was horrified by this whole statement. It's just, I heard it on VSiN first, which is great. They're out in Las Vegas. Apparently, according to the Nevada Gaming Commission, the props for the draft have to be gone the night before, off the books, off the board,
the Wednesday night before
the draft. So people who are planning on going to the draft in Las Vegas,
do your betting now.
Yeah, do your betting outside of Nevada, because apparently, and hopefully, like I said, we're recording this. Hopefully, enough people would say something, but I'm not sure how that's going to affect the Nevada Gaming Commission to change that rule. But I can't believe that rule. Well, I understand that the books lose money on the draft traditionally, but this is one of those drafts, like I said, it's so up in the air that they could probably actually win money on this draft. But,
this could actually be a very good draft for the books this year.
Yeah. But like I said, apparently, unless they change the rule from between this time and when we're actually broadcast, or this recorded segment is broadcast, you have to bet before Wednesday night, Wednesday night before the draft.
Include Wednesday in your trip. Include Wednesday into your trip to Vegas.
Yes.
But even if you're not going to Vegas for the draft, you still have to take a look at, if you're like in a state like Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Now, Tennessee just released their draft betting rules.
Okay.
They have some interesting rules in terms of when you can place a bet.
Oh, okay.
Only the first 3 rounds.
All right.
And you have to make, if you're betting on a specific pick, like the 5th round, the 5th pick of the first round.
Yep.
If you're betting on the 5th pick, whoever that's going to be, you have to make sure your bet's in by the time before the 4th pick airs.
Okay. All right.
So there's a lot of different.
So is there
hoop jumping you have to do?
Yeah.
Don't be thinking you're going to be sitting there watching the draft and go boom, 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 boom. I'm placing this bet, and in 2 seconds it happens. No, you got to get that bet in before even the pick before happens in some states.
So let me get. I just want to say this to everyone: if you're getting anything out of this exit about what we're talking about, is the fact that you should check your rules wherever you're betting on the draft.
Every
state is different.
And some states don't even allow betting on the draft.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, so
it's a very state-by-state situation. Nevada's got the most unique one where you can't even bet on it while it's happening.
Yeah.
I guess it's called a futures bet over there. I don't know what you want to call it, but again, I don't know.
They were saying draft props. That's what they were calling them. So.
But I mean, technically, if you're not betting on the day of, it's kind of a futures bet.
So yeah,
so I don't know exactly if Nevada's going to catch up.
I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I'm wondering. I really have to check the rules now, because now that I'm thinking about it, I was just. I heard all this, and I'm trying to figure out, what did I do last year? I mean, was there? I'm trying to figure out how I bet or what the rules were. But I kind of remember. I mean, I was betting all the way through the draft.
Well, I remember
betting on it.
I remember when I bet on the Trey Lance pick.
Yeah, that was a great bet on your part. By the way,
he was the 3rd pick overall.
Yeah, and you nailed it. So.
I put that bet down after the first pick was made.
Okay, all right.
So that was the pick prior to his pick.
One of the benefits of betting in New Jersey, I guess.
I did it on the phone.
So, yeah.
So, again, check your regulations. Check with your sports books, because the sports books can tell you when and where and how some of these bets are going to be done.
I would assume these rules are up in the individual state gaming commissions.
I would hope so.
Or whatever the state calls it.
I would hope so. They should actually, for some of these events, release press releases outlining what the regulations are.
Yes, that was the moral to this exit.
Yes.
Check your local rules for betting on the draft, because they could some have very unique rules.
Yes, and most of all, enjoy the draft tonight.
Yes, enjoy the draft. Have a great draft.
Exit 2.
Well, if you ever wanted to be Snoop Dogg, now's your chance.
Okay.
The Tracer Pack Snoop Dogg Operator Bundle dropped recently on the Call of Duty Warzone and Vanguard games.
See, that's pretty cool.
Snoop Dogg is now a playable character.
Awesome. That's great.
Actually,
what game is this now? I want to be clear. I
Call of
want to
Duty
check this out.
Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone,
All
and
right.
Call of Duty Vanguard.
All right. Okay.
Now, he's not called a character.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows who don't play these games. I don't play these games, and I had to actually look this up because I was wondering why they're referring to it this way. It's the Snoop Dogg Operator Bundle. The operator is the character in the game you're playing.
All right.
So it's not a they don't call them characters, they don't call them avatars. When you're playing Call of Duty, they're an operator.
All right.
And the game itself had a very interesting way to introduce him in this pack, the Tracer pack.
All right.
They had this entire paragraph-long intro backstory of Snoop Dogg going through when he came out with his first album, The Chronic.
Oh, okay.
Became the owner of Death Row Records. They went through all this, delivered an iconic halftime performance in California,
Yes. Yeah.
joined an esports organization, multiple business ventures. They even had the world record he set in the bio for him. He had the world's largest cocktail.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
He holds a world record.
I did not know that.
And it ends with the statement, this week, Snoop will add one more milestone to his career, becoming a Call of Duty operator.
See, that's cool. I like that.
A lot of people have been asking for this. So, from what I was reading, this has been a very popular operator bundle that's been coming down the pike here.
All right.
And it's they've actually...
Now, when you say bundle, what's included in this bundle?
When you first get Call of Duty, you get the game. Whether it's Warzone or Vanguard, you get the basic game itself where you start playing. And as you accumulate points, you can actually buy different weapons,
Okay.
ammunition, whatever, and you can also buy different skins or the character that you're playing.
Okay.
And every so often, the companies that publish the games put out these bundles that upgrade the game in some way, shape, or form, whether they add in new skins, whether they add a new location.
So you can get a Snoop bundle.
That's what this is.
What you
Snoop,
call it. Okay.
This is the
That's
Tracer
cool.
pack.
I like that. All right.
It's something you install into the game, Tracer Pack.
Cool.
And besides getting not only to be able to play Snoop Dogg, you get a whole bunch of weapons.
Okay.
So
what are the weapons here?
We have a sniper rifle called the Bong Ripper.
All right.
There's a theme here.
Yeah.
The assault rifle named the West Coast Bling.
All right.
An SMG called the Shiznit.
Okay.
And they all feature tracer rounds called green weed tracer rounds. They're the color of marijuana leaves.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
They went the
That's pretty
extra
cool. I like
mile
that.
with creating. It's actually kind of funny to see this, and I actually am very curious to see. I saw the trailer for it. Mm-hmm. They released an actual trailer for this bundle, and it's very cool.
I'm going to sound like an old man now and say, boy, kids nowadays have the greatest games.
Yes.
We grew up with Pong.
The one thing I don't
awful
like
is that?
The one thing I don't like when you see a trailer for a game, sometimes it's not the actual gameplay you're seeing. You're seeing a little movie made for the game.
Well, I know that some production companies specialize in
Yes.
doing these trailers, the so-called trailers for the actual game. So it's they actually hire production companies to do this stuff.
Yes.
To do the trailers.
And
So, yeah.
and according to the bio they made for Snoop on the bundle,
Okay.
his favorite weapon is the PPSH-41. Don't know what that is,
Okay.
but you actually have to reach a certain rank in the game to get the weapon.
Okay.
So there is a goal there.
All right.
But if you ever wanted to be Snoop Dogg,
There you go.
whether in real life or online, here's your opportunity with the Tracer Pack from Call of Duty.
Sounds pretty cool.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
Exit 3.
For our what's become our NFT crypto blockchain exit, we're going to be talking investment advice through pornography.
Okay. All right.
I figured this was
Interesting.
a unique enough story that we can actually talk about this one with a straight face.
All right.
Maybe not. I don't
All
know.
right.
Cherie DeVille an adult actress, social media influencer, and OnlyFans model. That's how she's described.
Okay.
Has now stated that men are all in for various reasons investing in cryptocurrencies and NFTs and falling victim to a lot of the scams that are out there.
Well, she's right.
She's
right. I mean,
right.
You really have to do your research in crypto and NFTs and things like that. I mean, they're the flavor of the month kind of thing, so they're getting a lot of airplay, especially, I mean, we're talking about NFTs and crypto, so you might as well be responsible about it.
Well, Miss DeVille
Okay.
is now determined to educate men on how to invest responsibly and avoid some of these fads like cryptocurrencies, NFTs. I don't know if you can call some of these fads anymore because the way the crypto industry is growing,
Sure.
the non-fungible token industry is amazing in terms of what's being put out there.
Let me tell you something. I can't watch a baseball game without seeing a crypto ad. I mean, they're on the umpire's jersey. What is it? FT? What? I don't even know what the hell it is.
FTX.
FTX, yeah.
Well, they are the Major League Baseball
Yeah,
sponsors.
that's what I mean.
Umpire sponsors.
Like I said, you can't watch a baseball game without seeing crypto in front of
On
it.
a side note, did you ever expect to see the umpires have their own sponsor?
No.
I never thought I would
no,
see that in any way, shape, or form.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. So Miss DeVille has decided to create an adult movie scene
Okay.
in which she will persuade a man who made a series of bad investments in crypto to go back to traditional financial mechanisms.
I think it's a great idea.
She's
It's great marketing.
She's
Yeah,
using
great
her
marketing.
skills,
Good.
let me put it that way, to generate attention in terms of investment advice. And it's kind of interesting.
And to be honest, let me tell you something. From what I'm hearing from you, it's pretty good advice. If you're going to do stuff like that, do your research.
If you're going to be talking about investing in crypto and NFTs nowadays, you got to be aware that there are schemes out there, scams.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, staying in the pornography industry, not too long ago, another adult actress did a NFT drop,
Okay.
collected the money,
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah.
So those types of schemes are out there.
But
There's shady schemes like that.
But was it Sherry DeVille?
Cherie DeVille.
Cherie DeVille. I think she's doing.
Please get her name correct.
I'm sorry.
She's an
about
OnlyFans
that.
model. You got to get it correct.
I think she's doing a great job. I think that's proper advice. And you know what? She has a certain stature in her industry, I guess. And and people are listening to her, hopefully, because I'm glad because it's really great advice.
She released it on tax day.
Good.
And the title of the scene is called Suze Horman.
Okay.
It's a takeoff on the financial person Sue Zorman.
No, Susie.
Susie Horman. So it's Susie Horman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I always say Suze.
Okay.
So, but it's the girlfriend of the man who's the focus of the scene.
This is the scene. This is the storyline.
This is the storyline.
All right.
It tells the story of a man that constantly wastes money buying NFTs. Girlfriend takes him to the finance expert, who's the title of the scene, and they were planning on going to the real one. They accidentally go to the porn one,
Okay.
which is where the name change comes in.
Okay.
Susie Horman,
Okay.
played by DeVille.
All right.
And she then talks the guy, or breaks him down, really. She dominates in the scene. Until he starts investing in index funds and ETFs instead of crypto.
Okay.
So she used her skills to convert this guy from a fad buyer to a more substantial growth index buyer.
Well, look,
Way to do it.
Like I said,
Yeah.
good for her. I think she's, she's saying be responsible.
Yes.
I think that's great.
And she did say that the topic of this scene is going to be problematic because of, she's actually reaching beyond just normal pornography. But she feels it will get
Is
the
that the
attention of
correct
men.
term? Should we say the adult industry instead of...
I will say
Do they
both.
prefer
I will
adult
say both.
industry?
But she said that we'll definitely get the attention of at least the male investor out there.
Well, look, I mean, she's giving good advice the best way she knows how to give advice, and I think she's doing a good thing. She's doing a good service.
And she's not doing an NFT drop along with it.
Yeah.
Which actually would have been funny.
Yeah.
Exit 4.
In our last exit of the day, we're going to be talking about Action Plaza. Action Plaza is going to be part of the Hall of Fame Village.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's what it's called?
That's called.
Okay.
That's what it's called, Action Plaza. They released some renderings, some descriptions. We had Michael Crawford on the show.
I was going to ask you, did we have someone
back.
from
Hall of Fame Village?
Hall of Fame
Village.
Village.
Resort and Entertainment Company.
Sounds
which is
amazing.
Putting on the Hall of Fame Village. They've done the sports betting deals. They've got a whole bunch of entertainment deals coming in. They even got the playoffs and championship game of the USFL.
Yeah, no, big things are happening in Ohio.
Yes, especially with the Hall of Fame Village.
Yes.
What they have released here is a description of what they're calling the Action Plaza. And this is their phrasing, an engaging entertainment, relaxation, and play zone. It's a 3.5-acre plot of land that's going to be adjacent to their Center for Performance.
Yeah.
Where the stage. Where they have the
and from what I hear, it's just right next to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Which will also have a retail sports book if anyone's wondering about that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I knew the village was going to have it.
That's what's adjacent to the.
Okay.
I'm saying the village is
not
going
the
to
actual
have,
Hall of Fame. You have to go across the street or
No.
something, or across the compound.
The Hall of Fame may have an online sports book attached to it, but not a physical.
Really?
The physical sports book will be in the village.
Nothing's going to surprise me anymore
No.
with sports betting and the leagues.
Well, the plaza is going to have different attractions. They're going to have 2 rides. One is a giant Ferris wheel with 20 gondolas equipped to accommodate 6 to 8 people, and a zip line.
Okay.
Across the property called the Soaring Football Zip Line. The Ferris wheel is going to be several stories high.
My God.
And when you're at the top of it, you're going to be able to see the village from above. It's going to be like a sky view of the village.
You know, last time I went to Canton, Ohio, was to see the induction of Dan Marino. And let me tell you something. It was great. The Hall of Fame was amazing. But after the Hall of Fame, there was pretty much nothing to do.
No.
Go out to eat somewhere, or that's about it.
Yeah, that was.
But this is amazing what's happening.
Well, this is going to be built up amazing. Several story high Ferris wheel. Then you got what's called, in the surrounding area, they're calling the Red Zone.
Okay.
That's where the zip line will be housed.
Zip line.
It's going to be known as the Forward Pass.
All right,
which is actually
cool.
kind of a cool
name. I like that. I love what they're doing there. I mean, like I said, Canton was great. The Hall of Fame was amazing. But after you see the Hall of Fame, there's not too much. I love Canton. Canton's a great city, and I think this is a great addition to Canton. And something to do with the kids.
Yes.
I mean, you know.
Well, I know plenty of adults that love ziplining.
Oh, sure.
There are the seats on each zip line. I guess you're going to be able to sit down on it. They're going to have football-shaped attachments.
See, I thought the
seat.
zip line was something like you kind of strapped in and zip line.
They may have like a little seat harness kind of thing. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. But the description said it will feature football-shaped attachments on each seat. Now, maybe that's referring to the maybe that's referring to the Ferris wheel.
I don't know.
But
I gotta check it out.
All that. And overall, they're going to have, and I'm going to read the list here, the Action Plaza Amphitheater. They're going to have concerts, fitness challenges, speaker series, lectures, other highlights, a bar area with a patio.
Wow.
Also a devoted space for food trucks.
Okay.
And there's going to also be, all the way around the village, or around the plaza, there's going to be a walking trail.
See, that's awesome.
For fitness people.
See, that's great. You know, like I said, I think Canton needed that. I think the Hall of Fame is amazing, but just adding to the Hall of Fame experience is something amazing.
Construction's underway.
Great.
And it will open late summer. This year.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know all of it or some of it, but they say it will open in late summer 2022. The way Michael Crawford and the group at Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company do business, this should be done. It should be an amazing piece of work.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We got Beatin The House. We got a book report coming up. And right after this, I'm talking with Greg Warren from Sports Handle, USBets.com, and Better Collective. We're going to talk all about the great things happening with gambling in Canada. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Attention! Here is something big banks don't want you to know about your IRA or 401k. You can store your retirement savings where you can actually see, touch, and hold it in your hands. With a Paradigm Gold or Silver IRA, you can transfer a portion of your savings to physical gold and silver coin and store them where you can see them. The stock market is close to its all-time high, and your retirement might be at risk again. But you can trust Paradigm Gold Group to help.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Paradigm Gold Group is a gold IRA leader, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, where gold and silver has been in the family business for over 40 years. Call for your free guide to Paradigm's Gold IRA. Protect your retirement savings today with Paradigm.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. If you follow gambling news, you know that incredible things are happening in Canada. If you're a fan of sports betting, online casinos, or online poker, you might want to think about taking a trip this summer to Ontario, because on April 4th, the Canadian gambling industry changed forever. And our returning guest knows all about it because he covers gaming in Canada. From Sports Handle, USBets.com, and Better Collective, we have Greg Warren on the line. Greg, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's such an incredible time in Canada. I mean, last week on the show, I think I told you off air, we had Paul Burns, the CEO and president of the Canadian Gaming Association, and he talked about how incredible the April 4th launch was for the industry. Now, I want to ask you, as a person who's worked in sports media for years in Canada and now covers gambling industry for USBets.com and Sports Handle, in your opinion, how important was April 4th to the Canadian gaming industry?
Right. So obviously a very exciting time up here in Ontario and for Canada officially, right? Ontario is the first province that's experiencing this type of regulated open market. So it's really Canada's first foray into this space. So yes, it was a very, very important day. But at the same time, Canada has had a very entrenched gray market for online gambling for a very long time, for even over 20 years in some spaces. So the the shift to becoming a regulated market actually wasn't that dramatic. Obviously, it's a huge day to have a regulated market and have those consumer protections in place for people, and to have people come into a safe, regulated environment with their money and with their protections and with their responsible gaming. That was obviously huge. But as far as the transition goes, people have been gambling online here offshore for a very, very long time. So yes, April 4th was a very important day in many respects, but really the changes weren't too widespread, if I'm being honest, across Ontario.
I want to ask you how the launch took place on April 4th. I mean, we're hearing who launched, but I'm very curious how it launched. I mean, at 12:01, did all the online platforms go live? Did some start early in the day? Did others come later in the day? I mean, what was it like on April 4th?
Right, yeah. So it was kind of exciting. Operators didn't really want to commit to a specific time that they were going to launch. Some were very keen to launch right at midnight. A few of them did. An example would be Coolbet Canada actually had the first unofficial bet placed in Ontario. They were the first to announce it on social media, at least. And that was a bet on Kansas to win the national championship game in the NCAA tournament. So that they went live pretty quickly within about 10-15 minutes after midnight, early on Monday morning. That was quickly followed up by PointsBet, BetRivers. All in all, we had 17 websites that actually went live at some point throughout the day on April 4th. And now that number has grown to 21 websites with many more coming. We do have 29 operators that are registered with the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. And they also need to secure an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario, which is another government subsidiary that's going to be kind of managing the day-to-day stuff and the payments portion of this whole market. So lots more operators to come. I mean, we could see anywhere between 30 and 40 here, maybe by the end of the month or into early May. But yeah, 17 websites at least went live on April the 4th at varying times, but there were a handful, maybe 3 to 5 of them that went live within the first hour of them being legally to do so.
Now, just to refresh everyone with the rules for Canada, you actually have to be physically present in the particular territory or province in order to place a bet or play online there. I mean, one person can't be in one province and try and play or place a bet on a site in another province, correct?
You got it, exactly.
Okay.
So you have to be physically located within the provincial borders of Ontario to access this market. So there's a company called GeoComply that really kind of oversees this, and they monitor the betting activity to make sure that people aren't accessing any of these sports betting or iGaming, iCasino games from other places, whether it's south in New York State, or maybe it's to the north and east in Quebec. They actually sent out an interesting tweet a couple days after the launch that showed a lot of failed attempts to access the Ontario market from nearby Quebec and the Montreal area. So that's about 30 miles roughly northeast of the Ontario border. So there was a significant amount of geolocation fails, they call it, at GeoComply. So you can obviously see that people are trying to access these games or getting as close to the border as possible. I was speaking with GeoComply about a month ago, and they really pay attention to border towns. So in Ontario, Niagara Falls shares the border with Buffalo. And we also have Windsor, Ontario, that basically shares the border with Detroit. So those border towns are very challenging for them, and they have to make sure that they're accurately predicting where these mobile devices and desktop devices are actually accessing these games, particularly in those areas, because the line is so thin between either the United States of America or Ontario and Quebec, or even Ontario and Manitoba. Manitoba borders Ontario to the west. So it's a very important element, and there are some stern regulations to make sure that this gambling is only taking place within Ontario.
You know, I was going to ask you about that, because anytime there's a big betting event in the U.S., like March Madness or the Super Bowl, there's always news stories about people who tried to access one state's online sites from another state. I think just a couple days ago, I think there was a lot of people from Kentucky trying to gamble outside of Kentucky. But I'm very curious, where did most of the fails come from when it came to the Canada market? And is everyone very happy with the technology to protect the geofencing?
Understood. Yeah. So it's actually been fairly understood too, especially once New York State went live. A lot of Canadians were actually coming down to the border once they were allowed to, of course, due to the COVID border restrictions that we had between Canada and the U.S. So that restricted travel for a little bit. As far as the geolocation technology goes, there have been some hiccups, just like there are with any launch. Sure. Just if you do any kind of Twitter search, you'll see a lot of users complaining that some of these operators weren't able to really pinpoint exactly where they were, especially people that are in those border towns, like Niagara Falls and like Windsor in Ontario. So there's some kinks to be ironed out there, but I think that's expected to be with any launch. There are some people complaining that some of the geolocation technology is failing, and then these operators couldn't verify their location. So that, of course, kind of delayed them opening their accounts initially in Ontario. So obviously a few kinks to be worked out there, but I think in the coming weeks and months that'll all get ironed out to basically as much as it can be.
Well, in terms of the technology, I mean, going beyond the border issues or anything to geo-comply, generally, how did the April 4th opening go? I mean, did you hear about any other problems or glitches with the actual system or the actual playing systems? I mean, was everyone generally pleased about how everything went that day?
Right. I would say the general consensus is that it did go pretty well. I think you'll see a lot of the professional bettors in Ontario, a lot of the people that would make the trek to Vegas, or a lot of the hardcore gamblers had a lot of complaints. I did notice a lot of complaints, particularly against Bet365. They had some issues with they transitioned from the gray market to the white market in Ontario, and there was some complications with people changing over their accounts and being able to cash out their accounts and being able to flip their accounts over. So I did hear some complaints about Bet365 in particular, a few, of course, regarding BetMGM and BetRivers as well, but nothing so widespread that these operators were basically offline, or you couldn't create an account for days or even weeks at this point. So no major issues. I mean, if you want to nitpick, of course, there were a few things that kind of ticked bettors off in Ontario, but overall, I would say that it did go pretty well from the perspective of the consumer, for sure.
I want to ask you first about the sports betting launch. I mean, who were the major operators that went live on April 4th, and who are the major operators that have gone live since April 4th?
Right. Yeah. So, of course, some of the bigger sports books, Bet365 is really big in Canada and in Ontario. They have already an estimated 35% of the sports betting share in the province. They had that before this market went live because they were operating as a gray book in Ontario, and they're very popular in Canada. So they, of course, went live on April the 4th. We had BetMGM, BetRivers, Caesars, FanDuel, CoolBet, PointsBet, 888 was one of the other sports books that launched on the sports betting and kind of iGaming side. We had a company called Rivalry. They're based out of Toronto, Ontario. They're offering esports, iCasino, and sports betting too. Royal Panda. Another local option that's kind of cool in my opinion is the Score Bet. They're also based out of Toronto and have been advocates of sports betting in Ontario for a very long time. So they went live. I personally signed up for an account with them because I used to work there and I was kind of interested in their product. So at Unibet as well, also went live on April the 4th. Some sports books that we'll see shortly. A notable omission really is DraftKings. Everyone's waiting for DraftKings to arrive, and I'm hearing that will be probably a matter of days or weeks at this point before they get in. They're in the process of applying for a license. They're in the middle of that process, and it's trying to be rushed through. So I think a lot of Ontarians are excited about the potential arrival of DraftKings, and you're also going to see some other iGaming operators and sports betting operators like Betway, BetRegal, Pinnacle, Bet99. All of those sports books will be available probably in the next few weeks, or even to kind of the mid-May range is what I'm hearing after talking to a few of the operators there.
I love the fact that you mentioned some of the sports books that, people in the United States may not be too familiar with. What are the ones that are uniquely Canadian? I mean, some of the ones that may not be well known in the United States. I mean, certainly we've heard the FanDuel and the MGMs, but you've mentioned a couple that I've never heard of.
Yeah, exactly. So Rivalry is one. They're based out of Toronto. They have a really creative CEO there. His name is Steven Sauls. He's a great interview. If you're ever looking for some fresh Canadian content, he'd be great to have on your show. He's a very animated, fun guy and very passionate person about the industry. So they're very exciting, and they've been very active doing the media rounds and really pushing for the opening of the market. The Score, of course, they've been operating in Ontario for 20 to 30 years. They started as a specialty cable network. They were known for having really great sports highlights initially, and they eventually sold that business and went into the digital space. They have a very popular app in North America and even worldwide. I'm sure a lot of Americans have probably downloaded the Score app. Great for news, great for scores, and they're using that platform and basically merging it to allow betting on the app. So the hope is for them that they're going to convert a lot of their existing users that they have for their sports app into their sports book now. And they just inked a huge partnership with the Toronto Blue Jays, a big 10-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. So they're going to be going in and they're going to have a restaurant and sports betting kiosks and booths all over the Rogers Centre where the Toronto Blue Jays play. So that's I'd say the Score Bet is probably, as far as local options go, definitely one of the more unique sports books in Ontario and one of the more exciting local plays.
I know it's only been a little over a week since the launch, but have there been any numbers or trends with regard to sports books and sports betting so far? I know you recently reported some numbers with regard to Bet Rivers for the first week. How are things going with regard to the numbers and the trends?
Right, exactly. So, unfortunately, I was actually speaking with regulators yesterday, and there isn't actually a plan to be releasing any hardcore revenue numbers or anything at this point. A lot of the sports books, because the competition is so fierce, a lot of them are holding their cards close to their chest right now, and they don't really want to be revealing any numbers. What I can tell you are the numbers from Bet Rivers. They released a few statistics. So the most popular sports event in the opening weekend was, of course, the Masters Golf Tournament, predictively.
Sure.
They said that accounted for about 17% of their total weekend sports handle. And this stat actually really shocked me. They said the NBA has been the most popular sport thus far, receiving 36% of their total handle.
Interesting.
Followed by Major League Baseball at 14%. So I think that might kind of correspond to how the Toronto Raptors have been playing lately. Mm-hmm. They've been especially hot, kind of rolling into their first round playoff matchup with the Philadelphia 76ers this weekend. And of course, Bet Rivers did say that the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Blue Jays have been extremely popular teams to bet in Ontario so far. A lot of people showing love for their local teams. So from the iGaming side, they said that slots followed by blackjack and table games were the most popular game types in their particular online casino during the first week. So I'm a little surprised that there aren't higher hockey numbers, to be honest.
Right. I saw that. I was like, where's the hockey?
Yeah, we have a couple professional hockey teams in Ontario, the Ottawa Senators, who aren't doing so well this year and aren't as popular as the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, who are by far the most popular team in Canada, along with the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm a little surprised that hockey didn't get a mention in those numbers from Bet Rivers, but I think coming into the playoffs here in a couple of weeks in the NHL, hockey will obviously account for a huge amount of their handle.
Now, you mentioned the sports teams. I know every week in the U.S. you hear about deals with sports leagues and the sportsbook operators. Is that the case in Canada? I know on Sports Handle you wrote about FanDuel and PokerStars forming a joint partnership with the Maple Leafs group, and you also wrote about Toronto Blue Jays partnering with ScoreBet. And I just saw a press release that the Maple Leafs also did a partnership with PointsBet. Tell us about those deals, and what can fans expect from those agreements?
Yeah, exactly. So the real plum partnership here in Ontario and really across Canada is Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. So they have ownership stakes in a lot of the professional teams in Ontario, including the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Raptors, Toronto FC and MLS, and also the Toronto Argonauts in the Canadian Football League. They also have the ownership rights to Raptors 905, the G League affiliate for the Toronto Raptors, and the Toronto Marlies, who are the AHL, American Hockey League affiliate for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So FanDuel and PointsBet, I think people are a little surprised that PointsBet kind of edged into that, and it wasn't an exclusive deal just with one sportsbook with MOSE. But what you are going to see is sportsbooks basically popping up in the venues for these major teams. And of course, I previously spoke about the Toronto Blue Jays with the ScoreBet sneaking in to grab that kind of local team as well. So, and they're going to go in and basically make a new restaurant, sports bar, kind of sports betting bar concept. They don't have a timeline for when this restaurant's going to launch, but it's going to be on site at the Rogers Center. So you're going to see these sports books really have the edge as far as advertising goes, whether that's digital or in arena or in stadium advertising. You're going to see them on some of the broadcasts. FanDuel also has a deal with TSN, which is the Canadian equivalent of ESPN. So you're going to see a lot more sports betting advertising and stats integrated into the broadcast that you'll see for the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Argonauts. So that those really are the significant partnerships that have been formed so far. I kind of the general consensus, the rumors were that maybe DraftKings would be edging in for one of these major partnerships, but it looks like they've missed the boat on that one.
You know, I was going to ask you about that because here in the U.S., there's a lot of legislation in a lot of states to allow sports books in the stadium and arenas. I mean, Washington, D.C. already has that. Pennsylvania just had a restaurant open up an actual sports book in their place. Are we going to see expansion like that in Canada? I mean, not just in Ontario, but do you think in the other provinces as well?
Right. So all eyes are on Ontario right now.
Yeah.
One province that is definitely interested in potentially opening up their market is Alberta. Alberta already has a RFP out to have two sports betting operators enter the province, and they want to basically have sports betting kiosks and sports books set up in the major venues for their professional sports teams. So over there in the NHL, you have the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. You also have two Canadian Football League franchises in Alberta, the Calgary Stampeders and the Edmonton Elks. So yes, Alberta is definitely interested in that. All the other provinces are just going to kind of step back and see what's happening in Ontario. Without any, this is just a hunch that I have. I don't have any evidence to back this up, but I do think that maybe we'll see Alberta next, followed by British Columbia. I think British Columbia will eventually get on board, and then possibly followed by Quebec. Some of the other provinces, you probably won't see them basically open up their markets. And even Alberta is taking a very cautious approach by only initially allowing two operators into the province. So we don't know who those operators are going to be yet. I'm told that it's a very demanding RFP and a very unique RFP. So we'll see hopefully in the coming months who's going to prevail there. So I actually was told that there could be a partnership announcement between one of the sports books that's going to be entering Ontario shortly with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are in Manitoba, the CFL franchise there. So that could be kind of the start of some momentum towards maybe Manitoba being open to a regulated market as well. But we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out.
So do you think in the future coming weeks or the future coming months, do you think we're going to see an explosion of professional leagues and Canadian sportsbook operators just making deals? And I want to ask you another question. We were talking about this, a couple other attorneys that do gaming law. We were thinking, do you think that U.S. teams could start making deals with Canadian sportsbooks in the future? I mean, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you're playing at home, you're playing against a U.S. team. Do you think that U.S. teams could start making deals with Canadian sportsbook operators?
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of an interesting concept, and that's something I haven't really thought about yet. I definitely could see the Score Bet possibly inking some kind of partnership in the United States. I know they're live. I believe don't quote me on this, but in 4 states. I believe it's Iowa, New Jersey, and there's 2 others. It's slipping my mind exactly where they are right now. So I could definitely see the Score Bet especially because they're basically teamed up with Penn National. I think they definitely would have the budget to possibly to edge in maybe more on, maybe not on like a professional level with like an established NHL franchise or baseball franchise, but maybe more on like an AHL level or maybe a AAA level in baseball, maybe something like that. So that you're right. That'll be something interesting to monitor. I think everyone's really focused in Ontario right now. And I think the Canadian sports books at least are really going to focus on the expansion across Canada first. Again, that's just an assumption I'm making, but maybe I could see the Score Bet potentially maybe at least investigating a partnership somewhere in the United States. That could happen.
Now, as I said in the introduction, Canada also has online casinos as well. Who are the operators for the online casino platforms now?
Right. Yeah. So online casino, I did mention a few already.
Yep.
So a lot of these sports books too, they do have casino offerings, right? Like Bet Rivers.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are playing there. 888 is a popular one. Cool Bet is kind of a new customer in Canada. They were operating as a gray operator, and now they've gone to white. They're licensed out of Malta, and they seem actually like a really cool sports book. They've been getting some positive media lately. They've got really great customer service, and they're fully transparent, so you can see any bets that are placed as they happen live on the site. I thought that was pretty cool. So Poker Stars will be coming, partypoker.ca, partycasino.ca, partysports.ca, Royal Panda. Leo Vegas as well is a licensed operator now in Ontario. So those are kind of on the iGaming side, who Canadians are playing with at this point.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the sports books and the online casino combination, because here in New Jersey, when I go to a sports book, they have a tab that says online casino. Are you seeing that also in Canada, that these partnerships between the sports books and casinos, do you see a lot of that in Canada? And in New Jersey, there's some even with a shared wallet. So if you go to FanDuel and you go to their online casino site, you know, you play with the same bankroll. Is that the way it's happening in Canada as well?
Right. So the iGaming license in Canada, it's all encompassing. So you're allowed to have operators are allowed to have their sports betting, iCasino, and esports products all wrapped into one. So you don't have to apply for any individual licenses depending on what you're going to be offering. So that's a very positive aspect, at least what I'm hearing from operators. They really do like that aspect of the legal framework surrounding this market. And yeah, the shared wallet definitely exists. I can speak from experience. I signed up for a score bet account, and I was able just to roll over my balance and play a few casino games on there as well. Whether you wanted to, play a few poker hands or a little blackjack, a little roulette, whatever you may want, or some slots. So yes, you do have that option to roll over. A lot of focus in Ontario right now has been on the sports betting side. There hasn't been a ton of talk surrounding the esports and iCasino offerings at this point. And you're not seeing kind of any partnerships as far as specific partnerships anyways, that are basically just focused on the esports or iCasino. I think that's coming. The sports betting has really been the exciting part so far in Ontario.
Now, when we're talking about the online casinos, are we talking about all the games that you would find in a brick and mortar casino? I mean, are there some games that you're not going to find? Is it basically all slots, craps, roulette, and games like that?
Yeah, so I've fished around a little bit, just myself since the market has gone live, and to be honest, it does look like a lot of the same offerings. I'm sure there are some unique offerings out there that maybe I haven't discovered yet, but from what I'm gathering, obviously poker is huge, blackjack is huge, roulette is huge, craps, and people do love slots as well. Lottery has also always been very, very big in Ontario and across Canada. People love scratch tickets and lottery offerings across the country and in Ontario. So I'm sure there are some unique offerings out there, but I haven't really heard of anything that's eye-catching at this point.
Well, you mentioned poker, and let me ask you about the online poker that went live. I know 888 Poker, and I think very recently Party Poker were the first licensed online poker sites to go live in Ontario. I mean, are they the only two so far, and are there plans for others to go live in Ontario?
Yes, understood. That's actually an aspect that I haven't looked into. I was going to be looking into that today because I have noticed a little bit of buzz surrounding the poker scene in Ontario. So I'll be honest, I'm not particularly well versed in the poker realm yet, and exactly what's going to be offered in Canada and who's operating on that front. So I'll definitely have to get back to you on that, but I'm just not up to speed on the poker aspect of the iGaming industry yet, just with the focus really being almost entirely on sports betting so far in Ontario.
Well, let me ask you just a general question about online poker. Is it the same as it will be in the U.S., meaning that the provinces and the territories will have their own online poker sites and people outside of the territories can't play them? Is it the same way that it's going to be done like that? And do you think in the future there's going to be, I can't call them interstate compacts, but inter-province compacts where, like it is in the U.S., people from different states can play under the same platform?
Right. So I was actually speaking with Paul Burns about this, who was on your show recently.
Sure.
And yes, right now, ring fencing, it's basically up to each individual province to conduct and manage gambling within their provincial borders. So it's very much like the United States, where Ontario players are only going to be able to play with Ontario players. They're not going to be able to mingle with people from Manitoba or people from Quebec. So right now, that's exactly the case. Paul was optimistic that he thinks in the future that you could see some more shared liquidity between the provinces. He thinks that we can get there, but that's probably a few years away at this point. Obviously, that would be a huge advantage, and I'm sure in the United States as well. The more people you can get involved and the more interstate or inter-province mingling you can have, it's only going to increase prize pool and then the experience for the consumer. So I think in Canada we'll get there, but just like the United States, you're right. It's just managed within province right now.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Paul Burns, who, just reminding everyone, he's the CEO and president of the Canadian Gaming Association. I asked him about the other provinces in the country, what we can expect from them now that Ontario has launched all these sites. He told me that the other provinces will have a wait-and-see attitude toward Ontario. They want to see how everything works out. And you mentioned a couple other provinces, but can you go over that again? From your conversations with your contacts in the gaming industry, what have you heard from the other provinces? And is there a province that you expect will jump into the regulated online gaming scene next?
Right, exactly. So I did touch on this a little bit earlier in our conversation. So Alberta is definitely going to be the first province to jump. They're going to allow 2 operators in. The RFP is out. We're just waiting to see who it's going to be awarded to. Their goal is to have regulated online sports betting up and running by the end of the year in that province, according to the regulators. That's what they want. Whether that happens or not, it might actually spill into next year, but we'll see. Another province that I didn't mention is Saskatchewan. So they have a tribal organization there called the Saskatchewan Indian Gaming Authority. They also have a request for proposal out to basically launch online and also in their I believe they have 7 or 11 casinos in Saskatchewan, but they want to have sports betting offerings in there and an online product there. So we are going to see an operator basically coming in to help with that specific tribal entity in Saskatchewan as well. So if these go well, I think and Ontario goes well, the legal framework will be there, and I think it will be pretty much almost a copy and paste effort into the other provinces, obviously with some regional tweaks depending on the province, and maybe they want to make some slight modifications. But yes, it is a wait and see approach with Ontario right now, but you're going to see Alberta, and if things go well there, Saskatchewan as well. If things go well there, you're definitely going to see maybe more operators enter those provinces specifically. As far as the east coast of Canada goes, I think that they might be the last kind of group of provinces to go. I'm talking about Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island as well. So I don't think you'll see a regulated market there anytime soon. And it could pique the interest of British Columbia, which would be appealing for operators as well. They have a good population base, and of course, share the border with the United States. You got Seattle just to the south of Vancouver, which is the most populous city in British Columbia. So we'll see.
One of the aspects of your online gaming platforms in Canada is the advertising aspects of it. I live in the northeastern part of the United States, and you can't watch television or listen to the radio or drive by a billboard without seeing or hearing advertisements for online sportsbooks or online casinos. When it comes to advertising in Canada, are there any restrictions, and what are the regulations that online sites have to adhere to?
Right. So this has been a huge issue actually in Ontario, and a lot of operators aren't happy about it because they're not allowed to publicly promote any of their bonus or sign-up offers. So there needs to be a level of consent before any bonus offers or deposit offers can be revealed to the consumer. So what we've seen in Canada is a lot of, you won't see anything on social media or on billboards as far as those offers go. There are all kinds of billboards up, especially around the Toronto area. The Score Bet has a big one. I know that FanDuel has a few, and CoolBet also has some advertising. You're seeing it on all kinds of the sports broadcasts here north of the border. We're being bombarded, especially with Wayne Gretzky's BetMGM ad. That's one that comes to mind right away. Austin Matthews is linked up with Bet99. Bet99 is going to be entering the regulated market. They're in the process with an application. So you're seeing, with him being such a huge figure in sports, Connor McDavid also signed on with BetMGM. So you're seeing a lot of advertising there. But but it's been frustrating for the operators because they haven't been able to really get their bonus and promotional offers out there. And obviously it's a key time within the first few weeks of the launch to try to acquire as many users as possible to your sportsbook. So, and it's frustrating for the consumers too, because there's a lot of digging. Basically, they're only allowed to advertise these offers with a level of consent, or if people go directly to their landing pages or directly to their app. So it has been frustrating. There are a lot of regulations, but the intent is to protect consumers. But as far as TV advertising goes and radio advertising goes, it's not controlled by anything right now. I know that iGaming Ontario does have the legal responsibility at some point to step in if they think it's getting out of hand. And I would almost argue that it is getting out of hand at this point. Yeah. I know I've watched a couple Blue Jays games or Toronto Maple Leafs games, and every single commercial you're seeing Bet365 or BetMGM, you're being bombarded with one or two sports betting advertisements. So there's definitely been a noticeable increase around Canada and around Ontario specifically. And it's something that we're going to have to monitor, and it really could be capped at some point here.
You know, you alluded to this subject a little bit before, but what has the Canadian gaming industry's response been with regard to offshore and unlicensed platforms now that they have regulated sites in Ontario? What is the message that the Canadian gaming industry is trying to relay to those potential customers out there with regard to offshore and unlicensed platforms?
Right. So there's a lot of tension there, especially for the new sports books entering the market. When I say that, I mean someone like the Score Bet or someone like PointsBet who weren't previously operating in Ontario. A lot of them believe that the companies like Bet365 have a huge head start on the market, and really the process for them to convert a customer has just been basically signing new terms and conditions and basically moving their accounts to an Ontario-based account. So it's been very easy for the gray market operators to convert. And I know a lot of these companies that are starting fresh in Ontario are extremely frustrated by that, and they feel like that they might be potentially behind the ball on this. They do think that their products will eventually win out, but there is a lot of tension there between the gray market operators and the new prospects in Ontario. There are many gray sports books that are still operating in the province. I'm going to be writing an article on this next week, that as long as they're in the application process with the AGCO and iGaming Ontario, they're still allowed to operate in the province. So that's very frustrating for some operators, that this has been allowed. The AGCO has been very lenient in regards to kind of their rules surrounding gray operators. So it's not going over well with some, and it really is advantageous to the existing gray books that have converted to the regulated market.
Well, speaking of online gambling and also articles that you have written, you wrote a great one on usbets.com about a study that was conducted dealing with online gambling and the impact COVID had on this activity. Who conducted that study, and what was the result of the study?
Right. Yeah. So that was done by the Responsible Gaming Council. They're based out of Toronto. So the heart of Ontario. Basically, it's kind of what you would expect what would happen during a pandemic. In Ontario, we had a very unique situation. We had a wave of rolling lockdowns. And when I say lockdowns, I mean people were really almost confined to their homes. You couldn't even have social gatherings of more than 5 people at your own home at one point. Businesses were shut down. Casinos were shut down, which is a huge thing. And these waves of shutdowns basically have gone on for the last 2 to 2.5 years. And it's really impacted the way that people are gambling, of course. If you can't go to a casino, you're going to go online. And that's basically what the study concluded. And the really troubling part of it is that people were gambling with the intent to make up for their lost income due to losing their jobs or not being able to go into work. In particular, the service industry was hammered here in Ontario and across Canada. There were all kinds of shutdowns with restaurants and lots of restaurants and bars going out of business. So people in that sector were very affected financially by the pandemic. And so this study concluded that, look, people were gambling with the intent to make up for that lost income. So that's especially troubling. And they noted, not surprisingly with the pandemic, higher rates of anxiety and depression, and even people having suicidal thoughts. So obviously not a good correlation with gambling, but,
Sure.
and even just from an entertainment perspective, if you can't leave your house to go to a restaurant or to go watch the Toronto Blue Jays or the Toronto Raptors. I mean, if you can remember, the Raptors were shipped down to Florida. They couldn't even play their home games here in Toronto, right? They were playing out of Orlando at one point during the pandemic. So, people were flocking to online websites for entertainment. So I'll be interested to see the studies that kind of come in the next few months and years, and to see if people will return to the brick and mortar casinos, because we do have a thriving casino kind of culture here, especially in Southern Ontario. There's a lot of options for people, particularly in Windsor and the Niagara area. We have some really great casinos here. So it's interesting to see if people are going to come back or not, or if they're just going to remain online.
Well, certainly April 4th was only the beginning for Canada. In terms of growth, what do you expect from the coming months and years?
Right, exactly. So the Ontario market is estimated to produce around $1 billion in revenue in the first year. And there are other projections that within 5 years, they think that could grow to around $28 billion across Canada, depending on if other provinces adopt these open models that Ontario is using now. So I think the future looks bright. I think a lot of operators want to get in at the grassroots level here with Ontario. And some of the operators I've talked to have been very interested in expanding their offerings to other provinces if they'll have them. So I think Canada's a really big opportunity for operators and specifically Ontario. And we really should see it grow as long as operators are responsible and consumers are protected and responsible gaming is a priority as we move forward with things, that there's no reason to believe that this industry can't grow and really be dominant across Ontario and across Canada.
Greg, we're running out of time, but can you give out a website where people can read your articles, and can you give out your social media address so people can keep up with what you're doing?
Absolutely. So you can find me on sportshandle.com and usbets.com. You can follow me on Twitter at GregWarrenBC for Better Collective.
Greg Warren from SportsHandle, usbets.com, and Better Collective, thanks so much for coming on and giving us an update about what's going on in Canada. It's an incredible gambling market. It's just going to get bigger and better. I got a feeling we're going to talk to you again very soon, because in terms of gaming, Canada is making news every week. So thanks for coming on. I hope to talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. With some of the best promotions and offers in the sports betting market, PointsBet simply stands out. PointsBet is the only U.S. online bookmaker to offer points betting, where every yard, every point, every goal, even every play matters. Same-game parlays, good karma payouts, early payouts, and exclusive game day promotions and guarantees for all sports. PointsBet offers more bet types than any other bookmaker in the world, offering a unique set of markets that aren't available anywhere else. And now PointsBet is offering one of the best sign-up offers in the sports betting market today. New customers signing up with code BET21 receive 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Get up to $500 back if your first fixed odds bet loses, and up to $1,500 if your first points betting bet loses. That's code BET21 for 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000 at PointsBet. PointsBet, it pays to be fast. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin The House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Beatin The House segment, where we discuss the jackpots won across the country and internationally in the casinos, the online casinos, the bingo halls, the lottery, what have you. We will discuss a bunch of different stories that are kind of interesting in terms of the amounts won, the games. Keep those press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll continue doing this segment.
You mentioned bingo halls. Have we had a good jackpot from a bingo hall lately?
No, that's why I mentioned. I'm hoping somebody sends me
more bingo
one
halls.
Well, hey, you still have Foxwoods, which is considered a bingo hall. A lot of the casinos still have bingo halls.
I've never referred to Foxwoods as bingo hall.
It started out as a bingo hall.
Okay.
You got to actually acknowledge the bingo halls at least.
Acknowledge its history, but
I was trying to be nice. Now you kind of make me rethink what I just said. So, but we're going to start off this week in Arizona.
Okay.
The Desert Diamond Casino West Valley. And as a matter of fact, I think we've had a couple in the past from the Desert Diamond Casino.
I was going to ask that. I haven't.
Name is familiar.
Yeah.
I have
Desert
to go back
Diamond.
and take a look at the records, but I'm pretty sure we've had at least a couple of these.
Now, it's in the name here. West Valley, is that the location of it, or is that the actual name, Desert Diamond Casino West Valley?
Yes.
Yeah,
both.
Okay. Both. Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Very nice casino chain in Arizona.
There's
a couple of them.
Never been.
There's a couple of them. They do a great job there.
Okay.
We are going to be talking about a table game today from the Desert Diamond West Valley. Joseph R. hit a $744,340 multi-game progressive jackpot playing 3-card poker.
Wow.
We haven't had too many 3-card poker jackpots.
No, we've had a lot of Pai Gow poker,
Yes.
but not a lot of 3-card poker.
Well, okay, now that you mentioned Pai Gow.
Okay, we have a Pai Gow poker
Well,
thing?
no,
Okay.
as part of the story, we have a Pai Gow reference.
Oh, okay, all right.
This was a 3-card poker multi-game progressive jackpot. Joseph hit a royal flush as the winning hand.
All right.
And the last guest that won a huge jackpot was a $500,000 Pai Gow poker
All right, yeah.
progressive jackpot.
Boy, people are running Pai Gow a lot.
It's a very popular game, obviously.
Yeah,
I
Like
don't
said,
know the rules.
everyone,
I don't know the rules. So.
I have the I got to show you online. I've been trying to do it online, so not to the success that some of these people have had. But,
744,000?
No, I haven't had that.
No, I'm pretty sure I'd hear about that one.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Right?
You're angling to be one of the entries.
Well, first off, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on vacation somewhere.
True.
So
You'd be holding a big
yeah.
check.
So I didn't win anything because I'm sitting here.
Well, we're going to leave Arizona and we're going to go to Las Vegas.
All right.
By the way, just about every week, if not every other week, one of the station's casinos has a big winner.
I like the station casinos.
All of them are good.
They have the
good.
greatest bad beat jackpot. It's not, if you get the bad beat, everyone, not only in the poker room, but in all the poker rooms of Palace Station get something, right? That's the chain, right?
They have a couple different bad beats.
They have a couple different,
Yeah.
no, but that's
One
one of the
of
really
them-
cool bad beats.
One of them is just the one casino. The other bad beat is all the casinos that are playing that same game.
Yep.
The other one is all the casinos with everybody in the poker room. There's
At the different poker rooms. So that's great.
There's a couple different bad beat
I guess you got to
jackpots they
really
run.
check on it to see the bad beat rules.
You actually got to sit down. You know those little cards that the pay tables they have on the tables?
Yeah.
They actually describe some of the bad beats and everything. So make sure you actually look and see
By the
exactly
way,
what you're
I've
entering.
never read them. I've seen them in front of me a million times. I've never read them.
I've actually,
I guess I should.
Yeah,
but-
I've actually read them a couple of because it's one of the ways you can actually learn what you're doing. But Las Vegas local. Let's go on to the story here. at the Palace Station Casino. It did not say if he was one of their boarding pass members, which is their loyalty club.
Okay.
Since they have the train motif.
Yeah.
Las Vegas local hit a $120,000 royal flush.
Wow.
He placed a $10.50 bet on double super times pay poker.
Okay.
That's a video poker machine.
All right.
Hit a royal flush jackpot at 11:42 a.m., according to the press release. So this was some early morning money winning.
Great.
I don't know how long the person was playing, but this was a Monday morning at 11:42 a.m.
Wow.
At the Palace Station. And video poker. Again, we don't do too many video poker payouts. I mean, we did one, I think, a couple weeks ago where the woman had two jackpots just sitting there.
You know, I interviewed a person. She wrote a book.
Jean Scott, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's the frugal. That was her game, video poker.
Video poker.
And she claimed that she's never had to pay at a casino ever, going around with the different comps and the different. I think the Frugal Gambler. Was that the name of the book?
The Frugal Casino Gamblers, no, the Frugal Guide to Casino Gambling.
Yeah, I mean,
Frugal Gambler.
That was like a person who knew how to work the comps, and that was her game. That was video poker.
Well, again, we have a $120,000 royal flush.
Yeah,
we're going cross country now. We're going to enter the state of New Jersey, our home state. A couple of jackpots to talk about here, and as I always mention during the week, we do a New Jersey jackpot. If you want to check these out for yourself, it's very interesting with the Division of Gaming Enforcement. They do a great job with this. Every 2 weeks, they update the list of the jackpots coming out of the brick and mortar and also the online casinos for $50,000 or more.
Okay. So that's what they consider a jackpot.
$50,000. They're smaller jackpots.
Okay. Yeah,
but the ones that get reported by the Division of Gaming Enforcement are the bigger payouts.
Okay.
And I always find it interesting trying to track which casino, brick and mortar or online, doesn't really matter, which casino actually pays out the most.
Okay.
And I've been keeping track. We've only had $1 million jackpot this year.
All right.
So that's going to be something to watch. We had a couple by this time last year. We only have one this year. But we're going to go focus on two jackpots in particular. We've got Play MGM Casino. Two jackpots, both on slot machines, online slots. We have a $132,950 slot win playing Ainsworth's Cougar Cash.
All right.
Now, as you can,
I've never heard of that.
As you can imagine, it's an animal themed.
Yeah. Okay.
Slot machine. The
now,
Cougar
Ainsworth is the
maker.
Maker is the brand. Okay.
And I'm starting to see a lot of casinos have Ainsworth suites, whereas Ainsworth's divisions in their.
Well, yeah, you can search by maker.
Yes.
You know, you can search Ainsworth or IGT, and you can go to all their machines.
But I know some casinos are actually in their big menu where they have slots, table games. Then they have Ainsworth.
Oh, okay.
So there's a whole other suite of games.
Oh, all right.
Under the Ainsworth menu label. But every time you win, you'll hear cougars roaring.
Okay, makes sense.
The wild cougar is the highest paying symbol. They have a scatter. They have cougar cubs. So they went all out for the cougar theme on this.
All right.
The other one, $420,000 win playing Every's Borgata 777 respin.
Wow. Okay.
Now, don't get confused by the name of the game because it's made in conjunction between Every and BetMGM, and it's available at BetMGM Casino, Borgata Casino, and Party Casino.
Okay.
The game was launched back in September of 2021, and they named it the Borgata 777 Respin because there's a respin bonus that triggers randomly on any winning spin. You don't know if you're going to win this.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a unique feature that this game has.
See, I gotta go look for this because I have a subscription. I don't know what the hell you call it. I'm a member. I have a subscription. I don't know. I can log on to Borgata.
You're
BetMGM.
a registered player.
I'm a registered player. Yeah. I'm a registered player at Borgata and BetMGM. So I'll take a look for it.
But a $420,000 win. So within 2 weeks, there was about, I would say, $550,000 paid out by Play MGM Casino.
Oh, okay.
I've actually never referred to it as Play MGM Casino kind of interesting how they
see. I always heard of BetMGM.
It's listed in the spreadsheet that they release as PlayMGM Casino.
So when you go to BetMGM, it's actually PlayMGM too. So
yeah,
I guess
I would assume so. I guess it goes to both.
Okay,
that may be their original domain name too. If you think about it.
All right.
Let's go from slots and online casinos to the Mega Millions. We don't do specific Mega Millions stories too much.
No.
We have a Mega Millions ticket sold in Tennessee that hit the $20 million jackpot.
Okay.
That's 2 jackpot winners for Mega Millions within a week.
Wow.
It's 2 consecutive drawings. That never happens.
Yeah, no, that's rare.
Tennessee player was the 4th person to win the Mega Millions top prize this year. So Tennessee, I guess, is leading the league in Mega Millionaires.
I guess so,
That's a way to put it.
If you want to play Mega Millions, I guess take a drive to Tennessee, huh?
The last time Mega Millions, this was a very interesting note. The last time Mega Millions had jackpot winners in 2 consecutive drawings was back in July of 2016. It's not a normal occurrence to see 2 consecutive draws getting a top prize winner.
Wow, pretty good.
So kind of a. I guess it's a groundbreaking note.
Sorry, that you call
6 years.
Tennessee the lottery state.
I think they want to be known for sports betting more so than anything
probably,
else.
Yeah.
But again, it was. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes here just to make sure I don't miss anything with regards to it. No, that was basically the big note. There's a whole bunch of other Mega Millions winners to talk about, but it was very unusual to see 2 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
2 consecutive draws, I should say.
Great.
Last, we have the Michigan Lottery. A lottery club in Genesee County won a $1.7 million jackpot. We don't normally talk about
what the hell's a
lottery
club? Is that just a group of people they put some money in?
They get together and buy a lottery ticket.
Okay, all right.
So they won the.
I guess you better make sure your name is on that
yes,
list.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
They won the Jumbo Jackpot Slots Fast Cash Jackpot.
All
Well,
right.
that's a mouthful to say from the Michigan Lottery. And they bought it at Mojo's Food and Spirits.
Okay.
I just want to include that because they get a chunk of that.
Sure.
So
how many are in the club, did they
8
say?
people.
8 people. Okay. And how much they win?
$1.7 million. That's a good payout.
I'm trying to figure out taxes and how much each person would get. Boy, that's a math problem, huh?
I wonder if they have issues with what if one of them wants to do the lump sum, one of them wants to do it.
I would think they would have that all
hammered out
before you do anything.
I would assume that.
I would hope they had it all hammered out. So,
well, they actually had to double check everything. One person saw the drawing and saw that they won with the ticket. Another person had to go check the lottery app just to double check everything. So they were very careful in confirming that they won this prize.
Okay.
So I'm sure they've actually have done this before, won something before.
Oh, yeah,
so.
great.
And last but not least, one little quick note. Drake.
Okay.
Always betting on sports. He put a place to bet at Golden State to win the Western Conference. Looks like he's on his way to winning this, the way Golden State's playing. He got 5-1 odds, and he bet $200,000.
Wow.
So if he wins, the payout will be $1 million.
Wow.
And this is cash.
Well, hey.
Yeah.
Good for him.
This is not a crypto like he did the other bets for the Super Bowl and March Madness.
Well,
so this was cash.
Great. Good luck to Drake.
Good luck to Drake. I'm wondering where Mattress Mac is in all this.
Yeah, right.
But that's it for this week's Beatin the House segment. As always, keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. We'll keep doing the segment and getting more and more interesting lottery stories, and also some of the games are becoming more interesting to discuss, too.
The book report is next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Some surprises are good, some surprises are life-changing, and some surprises can be financially devastating. That's why you need 210 Home Buyer's Warranty. 210 Home Buyer's Warranty covers critical systems like your heating, cooling, and water heater, and appliances like your fridge from breakdowns caused by routine use. Because something will break down right when you need it most. A refrigerator breakdown can cost over $1,200 to replace, with 210 as little as $85. Water heater breakdown nearly $1,800, with 210 as little as $85. AC breakdown $2,500, with 210 as little as $85.
I enjoy knowing that any issues I may have with my home will be taken care of.
Everything was handled professionally.
The response and service is always timely and professional.
No matter the age of your home or appliances, a home warranty service agreement from 210 Home Buyer's Warranty can help reduce your financial stress. Call 800-580-7703. 800-580-7703. That's 800-580-7703. Call now to get 2 months free.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. We've got a bunch of things to talk about today. We've got state and national sports betting figures to discuss, including a few state benchmarks that were hit in the past week.
Yes.
We even have a new online market. We've got several deals to talk about, including one that was the first of its kind being made by a sports book. A couple other industry updates, also including about a new retail book that's being built. And if we have time at the end, we've got a couple pieces of legislation to discuss, and one from a New England state and a soon-to-be launching betting state. As a matter of fact, we have some stuff to talk about there.
I gotta be honest with you, that New England state news, I don't want to, I know you're teasing it, but that came out of the blue. I didn't think anything was going to happen with that. And it's not Massachusetts.
No, it's not going to be Massachusetts for a while, I think, anyway. But let's start with some numbers. In the national and state sports betting figures segment here, we're going to be really starting off with the two big dogs in the markets, New York and New Jersey.
Okay.
We've got New York. We talked about this last week, and we kind of anticipated because we taped before the New York Gaming Commission released the weekly numbers, which, by the way, is kind of interesting to see a state that big doing weekly numbers. But I guess I think it's
great.
I think
it's awesome.
It's because of the amount of volume, the transactions
sure.
they got to do it weekly. It makes
keeping
sense.
track of it.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Stay ahead of the numbers.
Yes,
that's what you got to do.
Well, up to previous week, we're taping for the week ending the 14th. Because we're taping before the week ending the 21st numbers, week of the 21st numbers coming out. Up until 2 weeks ago, starting with the January 8th mobile launch. This is just mobile sports books.
This is New York.
This is New York. New York bettors have wagered a nation-leading $5.33 billion on sports. That's just the mobile operators.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we say this every week. It sounds like a broken record every week, but New York is such a different animal when it comes to sports betting and just the population density. I think the next time we see a state this impactful of an industry is if California jumps into the sports betting. I think you're going to see numbers like New York for California if California ever gets their act together and starts sports betting.
Well, I'm actually very curious to see what happens when Texas enters the fray, because I just saw a news article where someone
Does Texas
is
even
pushing,
have casinos?
They're pushing now for expansion. I don't know if the Governor Abbott's going to do it.
They're having issues with their poker rooms, and they don't know what the hell they're doing with their poker rooms. So I don't know if they're going to get their act together and do anything on sports betting.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But I think you got New York is one of the big ones. I guess it's the big three: New York, California, and whenever Texas decides to do something. And then you have Florida. I don't know what's going to happen in Florida. That's a very interesting state too to watch. That's the other one of the big four there.
Disney's mad at Florida, so I don't think Florida is going to be a player in sports betting anytime soon.
No. But we'll see. I mean, but you're right. California is going to be the next big state to jump on board the sports betting market. So we'll see what happens in the November.
I mean, that's
election.
the state that we're going to see numbers like we're seeing in New York.
Yeah.
So.
And again, you got more major league sports teams in California than even New York has.
Sure.
So we're going to see even more books, in terms of retail as well as partnerships with the pro teams there. So November election is going to tell a lot right there, and so we'll see what happens there. But getting back to New York, this is an astounding number. Just from the 8 online books that are operating in the state, there's one more coming. That's Ballybet, but they haven't launched yet. Of the 8, the state has collected $174.7 million in taxes. That's an incredible number.
Well, that's why you do it. That's why a state jumps into the sports betting industry to get the tax dollar.
So. Well, that's why they had the 51% tax rate.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's kind of interesting. Let's talk about New Jersey now. New Jersey just did a jump in terms of their handle. They didn't make $1 billion last month,
which is like the first time in like 7 or 8 months or something like that.
In 6 months, it was
okay. Right.
What they did in March, $1.12 billion in March sports betting handle.
Look at that bounce back.
That's
Jersey with the bounce back. All right,
that's the 6th time in the last 7 months the state eclipsed that $1 billion monthly handle mark. Yep. The March handle was the 8th largest nationally in the post-PASPA era. And the online handle was also over $1 billion. The online handle was about 93% of the total handle. Mm-hmm. So New Jersey's market is mostly made up of online books. And they had the most books anyway, other than Colorado. I don't understand how Colorado just grew like that quickly in terms of the number of books. I mean, I don't think they're going to reach what New Jersey's doing in monthly handle.
Yeah. I love the fact that New Jersey was like 93% online sports betting. Even when I'm in an actual retail sports book, I think the last time I was in a sports book was Atlantic City. It was the new FanDuel one in Bally's. And I didn't place a bet there. I ate a burger. That's pretty much it. So I bet from my phone while I was eating the burger in the retail sports book, but I never went up to a window and placed a bet.
No, but the one in Bally's is kind of interesting. They have kiosks ringing the entire place.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Couple teller
windows.
They
have windows and kiosks and a good burger, which was important for me.
Regarding New Jersey's handle for March, everyone was talking about how New York is going to affect the sports betting market in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
The handle showed year-over-year growth of over 30%, just a hair over 30%.
Okay.
That's year over year. That's the 3rd consecutive month of year over year growth of 30% or more.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how New York is really cutting into their business.
It's not, and I'm happy about it. It's I know there was a lot of concern before New York jumped into the mobile sports betting scene, but it seemed to people love to bet. And there are a lot of people that go from New Jersey to New York every day. I mean, most people who work in Manhattan live in New Jersey, so So they're betting in both places.
I also think
and they're getting the best deals, too.
I also think maybe during March, the college basketball prohibitions,
of course,
New York couldn't bet on New York teams.
Yeah.
New Jersey couldn't bet on New Jersey teams. So that kind of exchanged, almost the customer exchange.
Yeah, no, in New Jersey, the big story was St. Peter's. And, you see it on the news all the time in New Jersey during the March Madness, and you just couldn't bet on it. If you were living in New Jersey, you either had to go to Pennsylvania or New York. So...
Well, I think it's helping both markets.
Oh, sure.
So, also,
I said, they get the best deals. I mean, you could, when you say shop around for the best deals, for the best promos and the best bonuses, if you live in New Jersey, check out Pennsylvania. Drive over if you're close to Pennsylvania. Maybe they have better deals than New Jersey, or if New York has better deals than New Jersey, you can commute.
It gives a whole new meaning to the word shop around for good prices there. One other note from New Jersey. The gross gaming revenue was up 114% from the previous month.
Wow.
That's a huge jump.
Sure.
even the market
So
share.
does everyone say February is always kind of a downtime?
Yeah, because there's
yes.
the Super Bowl betting happens in January mostly, and the March Madness happens in March. So February is always the downtime. Market share was kind of interesting for New Jersey in March. FanDuel claimed 55% of the gross gaming revenue market share.
Wow.
The next closest was DraftKings with 19%. BetMGM had 16%.
I'm shocked they're that far apart.
Well,
I see DraftKings everywhere.
You got
sure,
the Meadowlands
sure,
up
the
there,
Meadowlands.
and you got to realize that's got a lot of New Yorkers coming in, too.
Yeah.
I bet you that retail book or that location was so busy during March Madness.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
So
Sure.
I think the numbers here kind of reflect, I think they're kind of skewed. Because it's just the Meadowlands is, I think, maybe benefiting from a New York audience.
Sure.
So more so than anything else. Moving over to Michigan, we got a couple benchmarks here. The overall mobile handle since the industry launched in that state cleared the $5 billion mark.
Wow, okay.
FanDuel, again, had 43% of the market share.
Okay.
They're the market leaders. Caesar Sports in Michigan cleared $300 million in total handle since they launched. And BetMGM cleared $50 million in adjusted gross revenue for the month.
I always thought BetMGM should do better in Michigan. Every time I think of a casino, an actual retail casino in Michigan, the MGM comes to mind right away.
Well, again, we're talking kind of mobile market mostly because they separate out the report.
Plus, I'm not in Michigan. I don't know how they're advertising or how they're presenting their or what benefits or promos they have. So,
well, you got to realize the retail books don't get a lot of traffic because there's only a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to get more now with the tribal casinos. But going over to New Hampshire set a benchmark. The mobile betting industry in New Hampshire, since it launched, finally passed the $1 billion in handle.
Now, when you're talking about DraftKings, that's all New Hampshire has is DraftKings.
That's all they have.
That's the only sports book there, right?
That's it.
Wow.
But they passed $1 billion in handle since it launched. It was December 2019 launch. So we're a couple years getting to $1 billion. Tennessee became the 10th state to pass the $4 billion mark in all-time handle for the post-PASPA era. Mm-hmm. They joined New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Colorado, Michigan, New York, and Virginia. The usual suspects.
Yeah.
Going over, like I said in the opening to the show, we had one new online market to discuss.
All right.
Arkansas has entered the online sports betting era.
Now, were they the state that were proposing, they might have it now, 51% tax rate like New York?
No, that was a different state.
That was a different state?
That was a different state, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
You could be right. I'll double-check that. But you could be right. But, again, they launched their online betting industry. They only have one online book at the time we're doing this.
Okay.
The Betley app, which is run by Delaware North companies.
All right. Wow.
At the Southland Casino Racing property. They brought in $3.3 million in handle and reported a negative $32,000 in revenue.
Okay.
So
that's because all the promos and bonuses.
Not an auspicious beginning for it, but
it's
they
a beginning.
Launched.
Hey, they're pioneers. Good for them. Congratulations.
Let's talk a few deals. We've got a whole bunch of deals to talk about again. I think I say that every week. There's all these new deals being announced, and with the new markets coming, with the new with the new baseball season.
Yes,
we've got some new deals coming in.
Huge news.
First of a kind deal. MaximBet announced a marketing partnership with the very first active Major League Baseball player.
Yes, we had MaximBet on.
Doug Turfer.
Yeah, Doug Turfer. Yeah, a couple months ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, they were doing great things.
Well, they're continuing to set the bar kind of high. They just did the deal with Charlie Blackmon, who is a Colorado Rockies outfielder.
Which makes sense. Yeah. They're in Colorado,
They're in Colorado.
Right? Colorado.
They've done plenty of deals in Colorado. They did one with one of the universities. They did the, the name, image, likeness deal?
Yes.
With all the athletes there. But they're going to be doing a marketing partnership with Charlie Blackmon. Charlie is going to be doing marketing campaigns. He's going to be doing fan events, social media announcements with the brand. Mm-hmm. And this actually all came about when Major League Baseball, in the new collective bargaining agreement, loosened up some of the restraints.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing in the collective bargaining agreement, and now they can do be spokesmen and have sponsorships and things like that, which is great.
No,
that's one of the books I hope to get to New Jersey. They're coming soon. I can't wait because subscriber to Maxim magazine. It's a great magazine, and now they're doing great things in the sports betting industry. Good for them.
Well, we have another announcement regarding a launch of a book, but this is also part of a deal too. DAZN. They're a streaming network, sort of like Fubo TV, Fubo Sportsbook, that sort of. DAZN has announced a multi-year partnership with Pragmatic Group to create DAZN Bet.
DAZN Bet.
It's going to be headquartered in Gibraltar.
Okay.
That's the new partnership.
All right.
And they're going to be operating under DAZN Bet brand, and they're going to try and leverage the audience that DAZN has regarding live sports streaming.
See, that's great. I love it when the media companies get involved in the sports betting because it's such a great partnership and it's such a great combination, Because that's, they say sports betting drives fan interaction and things like that, so it makes a perfect combination.
U.S. Integrity did a deal with Wager, the peer-to-peer sports book. To provide integrity monitoring services. That's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens with the integrity monitoring for the peer-to-peer.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more peer-to-peer things.
Well, Wager is operating as an ordinary sports book. I shouldn't say ordinary, but as a typical sports
traditional.
Book. Traditional. Okay. There you go.
No, the peer-to-peer, they call themselves betting exchanges, right?
Yes.
Is that the big buzzword for
That's
the marketing
the buzzword
thing?
for those,
so,
yes. But again, no, I don't think any gaming commission has approved betting exchange yet. They've approved the traditional betting side of everything.
Anytime we have a betting exchange on the show, that's one of the questions I ask. Is that a challenge explaining yourself and how you work to the state regulators? Because, look, regulators do a great job, and sports betting is new to a lot of people. Now, when you throw something even more unique with regard to sports betting, like peer-to-peer, you really have that challenge of explaining what you mean and how you're carrying out business to the regulators.
Yes.
That's always a big hurdle to jump. Same thing with esports, betting on esports. I said, do you have to explain yourself to the regulators how you're going to be working things?
It's very interesting watching the U.S. industry dealing with both the esports wagering and also the peer-to-peer.
No.
Overseas, no one's got a problem with it. On either side, either esports or peer-to-peer betting. But here, it's something new for everybody to look at. I know Esports Entertainment Group launched their VIE.GG website in Jersey. So, but again, they're the first ones. One deal, it's not a sports book, but it was kind of an interesting deal to announce here. Jackpocket did a deal with the Minnesota Twins.
Okay, all right.
They are the official mobile lottery partner for the Major League Baseball franchise. It's their Jackpocket's first Major League Baseball partnership. They're going to be introducing VIP tickets, field tours, and everyone who signs up using the Twins as the promo code gets a free lottery ticket.
No, I haven't tried Jackpocket yet. I know we've talked about him in the Beatin The House segment of the show when we, some of the big jackpots that people have won on Jackpocket, but I haven't even tried it yet. So I'm eager to try it.
Well, let's see. One last story to hit. I'm looking at my notes as I'm talking to you. We have reports from various outlets saying that Fanatics has entered into a deal with Amelco to create from the ground up its own sports book.
Interesting.
Fanatics.
So this is the rumors out there, or this has been reported somewhere?
As press time we're recording this, Fanatics has denied this deal.
Okay.
Amelco is quiet.
Okay.
And
so why is people reporting it?
That's what I'm saying. Usually when you see some smoke, there's fire.
Okay, so but they have denied it. So
right,
okay,
and it makes sense for them to create their own sports book instead of doing the sub license to get somebody else's platform. So I think if they want to control everything, especially now that you have like the NFL as one of their major investors,
sure.
I think it makes more sense for them to create their own sports book than it does doing the third party license.
It's weird that people just jump out. I guess everyone wants to be first reporting these things and things like that. It's just, got to slow your roll and get the information right. It might be right, it might be wrong, who knows? But Fanatics is denying it.
Fanatics has denied it.
Okay, interesting. Now we're recording this. Watch next week.
Oh yeah, I'm sure as soon as we hit the stop button on the record thing here, it's going to be they're going to announce it. So, but again, at the time we're taping this, Fanatics has denied it. Amelco is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a couple updates in the industry that don't fall under launches, deals, or numbers.
Just random stuff. Huh?
Random stuff.
Random stuff.
First things first, DraftKings announced their plans to build a one-of-a-kind sportsbook and luxury dining experience. That's how they're phrasing it.
Oh, wow.
At TPC Scottsdale.
Okay.
Remember, I think it was like over a year ago, maybe more than that. They did the deal with the PGA Tour.
Sure.
They are now finally ready to start construction on the retail book.
So this is a retail book combined with fine dining, huh?
Yes.
This isn't like a burger and fries kind of place.
I'm sure you can get a burger and fries for probably a huge amount of money there. You got to take a loan out to get a burger.
That's an interesting concept. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
What?
Kind of a fine
luxury
dining.
Luxury dining. I've been actually seeing that buzz phrase.
All right. Okay.
In a lot of the press releases lately. I know, especially with the books that make deals with the parks, the major league sports parks. They always refer to as luxury dining.
Let me tell you something. Some of that food in some of the parks, I mean, they have actual chefs doing this. I mean, that's some high-end stuff at some of these ballparks.
Well, this is their description, and I'm getting this right from the press release because I didn't want to skip any of this. It's going to be located directly across from the stadium course clubhouse entrance.
Okay.
It will feature 390 seats, a high-end dining experience. They haven't announced what the restaurant is technically going to be yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be under the brand of DraftKings TPC Scottsdale.
Okay.
3,400 square feet of video walls and screens.
Mm-hmm.
An outdoor patio area with video screens.
Wow, okay.
VIP cabanas.
See, you can do that in Arizona,
Yes.
right?
And fire pits.
Yeah, you can't do that in Jersey or New York because I guess you can do it in the summertime, but it's only a seasonal thing up here. But in Arizona, you can do that year round.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
great.
I'm sure the fire pits are going to be used for the losing tickets.
Yeah, right.
We get fed up with those. But yeah, they finally announced that they're going to start construction. They're hoping to have it opened sometime at the end of summer, possibly before the fall. So they're doing construction on it. It looks beautiful from the renderings they released.
I haven't seen it yet, so I have to check it out.
Another note coming out of Connecticut. According to the problem gambling division
I've heard this, yeah.
They had a 203% spike in problem gambling calls since the launch of the online sports betting, but it's kind of a deceptive number.
Okay.
Because they have what they call, and this is why I'm talking about here, they have what's called nuisance calls.
Nuisance
calls. And they blamed the books for this, quite honestly.
Really? They blame the books?
Because they're not getting the responsible gambling message out correctly.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are calling in. They're saying maybe half of these calls. There are people calling in or texting in, I'm having trouble logging in.
Oh, they're having technical issues. That's not a gambling problem.
It's technically a gambling problem, but it's not a gambling problem. It's not what this
terrible.
is for.
I mean, so you're taking up time when people actually need to call, and if having trouble logging in or having trouble with your computer is not a gambling problem, people.
Well, that's why they want to re-educate people.
Yes, 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem, an actual problem gambling, not problem with your computer or logging in.
We're going to finish up today with a couple pieces of legislation. First of all, I don't normally talk about international law here, but Uganda has now introduced legislation or proposal for one of their legislative committees to restrict sports betting activity between 5 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Interesting.
They feel that during the day, it allows underage gamblers more access. They want to restrict it to after work hours, not during the day.
Oh, okay. Oh, they want to keep it at nighttime.
Right.
All right.
5
okay.
p.m. to 2 a.m.
All right.
I don't know if that's going to work, but a little note there to keep an eye on. Virginia is going to be enacting legislation starting July 1st. No longer will gaming companies be able to say Virginia is for bettors in their marketing campaigns.
I didn't know they were doing that anyway.
They're going to be stopping it July 1st, and any violation of the new law would result in a $50,000 fine.
Okay. No, I didn't even know they were using that slogan.
Well, some of the senators are very protective of the Virginia's for Lovers.
Yeah, no, that was a big marketing campaign a while ago. It's still
it
a market. I guess it still is, huh?
Yes, it's still their main marketing campaign.
Well, I'm sure they own the trademark or something.
Oh, yeah.
To it.
Yeah.
So
but since I just said the word Maine, might as well talk Maine. Maine is moving forward with their sports betting bill.
So does this look like a go, or what's happening here?
Well, since it's the governor's sports betting proposal,
I guess that helps.
I think she's going to sign it.
Okay.
Something could change in between now and then, but it's gone to her desk. It's going to be giving control of the online sports betting industry to the tribes up in Maine. Mm-hmm. There's 3 different ones. Also, there were some adjustments to the bill before everybody passed it in the Senate. They now are allowing some of the casinos to have actual sports betting on the premises.
So soon, when you're in Maine, when you're fishing on the beautiful, clean lakes or skiing down one of their beautiful mountains, you can place a bet.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And you still would have to go from Massachusetts to Maine to play sports betting.
Yeah, because Massachusetts doesn't have anything.
And last but not least, we're going to finish up in Ohio.
Okay.
The Ohio Casino Control Commission voted unanimously to ban any commission member or employee from participating in sports gaming in the entire state.
Oh, okay. Well,
a ban includes in-person,
at
on-site sports books, or the use of a mobile app to wager on games. As we all know, Ohio will be launching at some point. I don't know when.
That's got to be soon.
They're close.
Yeah, they got to be close. Yeah.
So, but again, they issued that restriction, and also Ohio State University's vice president asked the commission to restrict betting on college sports.
Okay, all right.
They just wanted limited football and basketball.
All right.
And no individual prop bets. They just want it on the games.
A lot of states have that. You can bet on the team, but you just can't bet on the individual players.
What's interesting is they want to restrict it to just the 2 big sports.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
I mean, that's kind of nice to see them. It's almost like they've already proposed the middle ground.
I'm not quite sure what's wrong with baseball or anything like that.
It may not be a big sport.
So, okay.
They may not have the boosters for those.
Yep.
So that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been following along on the TV, we've got the ticker going. There's a whole bunch of other stories we did not hit. And the print version will be released about an hour or so after this is published. This podcast and the TV side is published as well. The full print version, there's even more stories there. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button, and you'll see it there once the show is out Monday morning.
And that'll do for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.